So number 3, appreciation or praise. Expressing gratefulness through thanks or praise and recognizing effort or accomplishment. Colossians 3:15, and be thankful. You know, we're studying the book of 1 Corinthians at our church. In fact, we just got done. But one of the things that's cool, I think, about the book of 1 Corinthians is, you know, Paul is writing a letter to this church. And it's really, in a lot of ways, a letter of instruction and a letter of rebuke. I mean, he visited there, then he went away for a time, and in response to him hearing about some of the things that were going on in the Corinthian church, he said, hey, you guys need to do some things differently. Like, you're getting drunk at the Lord's Supper, for crying out loud. There's sexual immorality going on. There's all this crazy stuff, right? But then in the beginning of 1 Corinthians, if you look at how he addresses this letter, you would never get the impression, ever get the impression, that is a letter of rebuke. He starts it out with appreciating them and reminding them of their identity in who they are and who God says that they are. And then he goes in and he hits them over the head with the Bible. But he starts it out. He starts it out with building them up and appreciating them with praise. We need to do this. Guys, I think that, you know, too many times in our marriage, we go on what I call a sin hunt. And what really we need to do is we need to go on a praise hunt. We need to catch our spouse. We need to catch our spouse doing something good. Guys, I want you to turn over towards the back of your manual to the first page before the appendix. So it's about halfway through. First page before the appendix. And it's going to say conflict at the top. And you're going to see the title is Appreciation Through Praise. It's the page right before the appendix. I think this is important. Appreciate through praise. One of the first things you need to know about appreciation through praise is that physical affection follows emotional connection. Physical affection follows emotional connection. And as we appreciate our spouse, what we're really doing is we're connecting with them emotionally. Okay? And a lot of times as a result of that, physical affection is going to follow. Okay? Physical affection follows emotional connection. We're going to go through a little praise exercise here, but before we do, I want to give you a couple guidelines for how to praise well. Number 1, we need to be sincere. Whenever we're praising somebody, please don't build them up falsely. They don't need to hear what's not true about them, okay? And people can see right through that, especially your spouse. And trust me, there are ways that you can praise your spouse. We just have to look for them. Be sincere. Number 2, praise character versus achievement. Don't necessarily praise their effort, but praise the character quality behind the effort, behind what they've accomplished. Probably the best example I've got in this is how to praise your kids' report card. Don't praise them for the A that they get. Praise them for the diligence that they showed and how that led to them getting an A. Praise the character behind achievement. Number 3, be specific. Don't just say, oh, you're always so humble. No, be specific. Say, hey, you know last week whenever you were going through that argument with your friend and you knew that she was wrong and you just decided to own your part even though it only represented about 10% of the problem. Hey, I really saw a lot of humility whenever you did that the other day. And I appreciate you for that. Like, be specific. Tie it to a specific event. Be concise. We're going to do an exercise in just a second, and the reason I've given you a sample script is so that you'll be concise. Don't let this run on and on and on and on. You can be sincere and be enthusiastic, but you can also be concise. Praise quickly. Again, we need to be looking for ways to praise each other all the time. As God brings things to your mind throughout the day, send them a text, get on the phone. Hey, I was thinking about you. Remember last week when you did this? Do it right away. God will, if you're looking, God will bring you areas to praise your spouse in. Praise quickly, praise often. Again, look for ways. And then as I said, praise hunt versus a sin hunt. Here's what I want you to do. There's a sample script there, and I want you to take turns praising each other. And here's what I'd like for you to do. Turn 2 pages over to the first page after the appendix, and you're going to see a page like this, and it's going to be 49 character qualities of Christ. 49 character qualities of Christ. So what I'd like for you to do is I want you to read through that list individually, and I want you to pick one that you have seen your spouse demonstrate recently. And remember, we're going to try to tie it to a specific event. Okay, so individually go through this list and identify a character quality of Christ that your spouse has demonstrated that you can praise them for. When you're ready, what I'd like for you to do is I'd like you to turn towards your spouse. I'd like you to take them by the hand. I'd like you to look them in the eye. And I want you to follow this script. I want you to know how much I appreciated you when you demonstrated humility, when you took the blame, when really I know that you were wronged even more, or whatever. And then talk with each other and share the benefit it had on you. Hey, that really meant a lot to me. That just showed me that God is working in you, and it just made me even more thankful for the woman or the man that I'm married to. Okay, so let's take just 3 or 4 minutes, 5 tops, and go through this exercise. Identify a character quality of Christ and take turns praising each other. And take each other by the hand, look each other in the eye on this deal too. Was that a positive experience for you? Hey, frequently I do this, and it always catches me by surprise a little bit, the impact of this small, short exercise. Frequently in my office, as a result of this, tears are shed. And almost just as frequently after tears are shed, they move towards each other and they give each other a kiss, because this doesn't happen hardly at all in a relationship. And right, as a result of, emotionally connecting at this level, just the simple act of praising one another, it results in physical affection, right? A kiss. So we need to have this mentality of trying to catch our spouse doing something good and praising them.